What was the greater accomplishment in this movie? Gohan defeating the villain or Vegeta finally beating Goku?
Before we get into this video, today we're sponsored by... We ain't sponsored by anything. I wish we were sponsored by anything.
Denied! Casey Smith, you're on.
Before we get into this, please know that this is spoiler territory. If you haven't watched the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, go watch it. I personally think it's amazing, but, you know, see it for yourself. With that said, spoiler warning right there. See it. All right.
Much appreciated.
First off, I'll say this wasn't your average Dragon Ball Super movie.
Your attitude, it's so different.
I almost put this in another category. I don't put it in the lineage of Resurrection F, Frieza, Return of Frieza, Broly. I don't put it in those categories. This is kind of like a new type of cinematic movie of the Dragon Ball Z Super era. With that said, I actually really like this movie. First things first, we're gonna get into Gohan. I'll say basically what I didn't like his nonchalant attitude. Okay, so in a movie, you kind of see him in his studies, typical Gohan stuff. His daughter's hanging out with Piccolo.
Grandpa.
Yeah, he calls him Grandpa at one point. He's like training her to fly. She ends up going off to school, but Videl and Gohan always ask Piccolo to pick her up. So he does, but he gets annoyed eventually at Gohan because he's like, look, you're so busy with your studies that you're not able to pick up your own daughter. And it's kind of the same with Videl. Essentially, Piccolo's the dad.
It would be one thing if it was coming from Goku, like, okay, whatever. It's coming from Piccolo. Piccolo's been the dad character in the show for a long time.
Seriously. So I guess that's why I call it Grandpa. But that's one dislike, I guess, I don't like about it. What I do really like about it was when Gohan found out that Pan got kidnapped, because Pan gets kidnapped. That was crazy when he just went off. I mean, he was not having it at all. So Gohan goes and looks for Pan, fights with the androids. It ended up being more of an even match than I thought. And so he ended up having to go to his ultimate form, which then he kind of put up a better fight and was, I would say, probably at that point a little stronger than they were.
Yeah. But they were learning his moves quick.
But they were picking, they kind of learned as it goes. It was kind of difficult. And they said in the movie they have like a battery.
Yeah, they can go at 100%.
Yeah, 100% for as long as they're at 100%.
Dude,
so it's like
cool.
they're like 87% and they were still at 100%.
If we could do that and then just like live life 100% and then at the end of the day just fall asleep.
Yeah,
that would be so dope.
That would be sick.
I was a little frustrated with that too because I remember after around the tournament arc in Dragon Ball Super, it seemed like Gohan had finally changed his mind. Like, okay, I am gonna start practicing.
Yeah.
Because like the fate of the world or universe could be at risk at any point in time. But then in this one, it was kind of like a backtrack on that. Yeah. And he wasn't.
Well, and then towards the end of the movie, he actually gets a new transformation, which, I mean, you probably see spoilers all around
Insane.
about it. But it's pretty sick. And I think the most amazing part for me was the voice. I mean, if you know what Super Saiyan 4 sounds like, that was kind of like that voice. He was like, is that all you got? I was like, dude, yo, his voice is low. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. But you see towards the end, he tells Piccolo was like, how did you know how to do that special beam cannon? He was like, well, I've been practicing in my spare time. So then again, you have that element to it.
Yeah.
That you don't see in the actual movie, but still, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I feel like there was a lot of emphasis in this movie that Piccolo was bringing, like, you know, your dad could be the strongest Saiyan ever. He's just, you know, not practicing. That's what Piccolo was doing when he was doing that the whole film.
Yeah.
But in that glimpse of when he transformed, it really did seem like he was the most Saiyan that he had ever been in his life. Because he was like Goku at that point, where he was just like watching the end villain do his thing and just waiting to see, and he's like, okay, now I'll go.
Yeah.
Like he like, get stronger, go ahead, I want to see what I can do against you.
I don't know if it was like the other translations or what, but I was hearing around, like, you know, just kind of rumors that Gohan learned that special beam cannon technique on the fly, which that would be crazy if he did. But I mean, then you hear the explanation he's been training, so I don't know. If I put the two together, it doesn't add up. So I'm saying that he learned it from training, and then he always knew how to do it. He's just got to that level.
Yeah.
But anyway, then we get to the androids. I'm just gonna call them Android 1 and 2. Yeah. They're brothers. But you have Dr. Hito. Essentially, he makes these two androids because basically Red Ribbon Army comes back. This is Dr. Giro's grandson. He is basically trying to rebuild his, I guess, army. Mm-hmm. But he's not interested in actually villains because he saw what they were capable of. He's more of creating heroes. So he said, I want to make strong heroes. Well, he gets deceived by this one guy. I forget his name, but he looks like a player. Yeah. Or like a, you know.
Carmichael. Carmen.
Yeah, Carmen
Sandiego.
Something like that. But he tricks him to basically creating something like evil, essentially. Mm-hmm. He thinks he's doing it for good. So he was deceived by the Red Ribbon people. And so he creates 1 and 2, but he also had Cell Max in production as well, but he wasn't fully ready. 1 and 2, he created were really strong. That would kind of be low-key my second complaint. I was like, why are they so strong? It's like automatically you have this person who is now like at Goku's level, almost.
It seems too incredible to imagine.
Almost like facing two golden freezes.
Yeah, because
that's what it felt like.
He was definitely a match for Piccolo, and like Piccolo has done so much, and after Super, I just expected him to be stronger than these two guys. I expected it to be a fight against him. They go back and say, we got to fix you up and become stronger. But there was none of that. It was just like right out of the gate, they were able to match each other.
Right. I guess this might be also another complaint. This is about Piccolo. He makes a wish. The reason why he makes a wish is he understands their potential, that they're really strong. And so he asks Dende, can he do what Guru did with Gohan, unlock his potential? Dende says basically he has to be at a certain age where you do that. He asked Dende, is there another way to do it? He was like, well, you could ask the dragon to do it for you. So he gets the Dragon Balls, which Bulma already had a crew who was like designated to gather the Dragon Balls like every quarter or something like that of the year. So she already had the Dragon Balls. He makes a wish. Yeah, that's kind of the weird part also. He makes a wish and basically wishes for his potential to be unlocked, and he just gets unlocked, and then basically they have 3 wishes. So he makes the first wish, and then Bulma makes 2 more wishes, but I'm not gonna go into that. I'll let y'all figure out what she got. But anyway, he gets a new form like right at the get-go. Mm-hmm. You know, you see he turns a little bit yellow, and the dragon like gives him a mirror. It's like, this is what you look like. But he didn't know when he fought the android again, it was like Android 2, he didn't know that he had another form. So when he fought the other android, they were kind of like on par a little bit, but the android was learning against him and still overcame him. And then he had like a dragon, like Shenron bonding moment, I guess, and a symbol went on his back that looked like a tree. Yeah. And then he just like had this big old explosion like Zenkai boost. And so he became like Orange Piccolo. That's what they're calling it. That's what he calls it. Yeah. So he's like this muscular version of himself, and this guy can do nothing. Basically, Piccolo one-shots him.
Did he look like Super Saiyan 3? Like what a Super Saiyan 3 Piccolo.
Yeah, what he like for Namek. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was kind of interesting. Another thing I heard like just around the community, and I don't know if this is like a translation thing either, but I heard that he was almost on par with Goku and Vegeta too, with that strength.
At that point?
Yeah.
With that union, Piccolo has become more powerful than I am.
That's what I was hearing. So I was like, this is weird to me if that's the case. And that's why when I originally, before I watched this movie, I was a little bit skeptical about how this movie was going to turn out.
What do you mean by that?
Because I was like, power scaling should not be like that. Like, I understand if you wish for, more power, I get that you would be stronger, but all he wished for was his potential to be unlocked.
That's true, but remember when it replayed in his head, Shenron said, I will unlock your potential and give you a little bit extra. And here's a little bit more. Didn't he say that?
That's maybe.
And so it's like a little gift from Shenron, probably because he has to deal with Bulma so much. And so he's got a little frustrated with all that extra power he's got that he's not using.
You know what? But also now that I mention it, he does doesn't he have God Q? Klamii, right?
Oh.
Klamii is technically, I don't know if it works like that, but I don't know. Maybe that
could have been it. Maybe he unlocked the potential, but it's like, because he's absorbed people, it's multiple people.
Yeah, because it combined all of them.
Yeah.
maybe
that might be an extra ability that we weren't aware of. But I mean, Piccolo, outside of Gohan's transformation, Piccolo is probably the best part of the movie. He was not only was he hilarious, he was leading the film, and he was just like, "Hey, Pan, blah 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 blah." He goes, "Yeah, we're good." He's like, "Yes, Gohan, go ahead."
Yeah. So like Pan would go and get kidnapped, and it was him that was the one kidnapping him. He was like, "Just play along, and he was basically doing this so his or Gohan, I was gonna say his son. But so Gohan would get upset. He's like, he needs to get back in training, so this is good for him. So he tricks Gohan. Gohan does get upset. He comes there. He's like, "Where's my daughter?" And Pan is like, "Hey, Dad." And he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like, help. And so she's playing along. Basically, Piccolo's telling her what to say. He's like, "Hey, scream now, yell now." And then it works. And then he looks at his daughter and he's like, "Pan." And so he powers up even more. And that's when he goes to his ultimate form and they start going at it for real. Because Super Saiyan wasn't enough, apparently. It wasn't until he fought Cell Max, because they realized that it was all a ploy against the Red Ribbon Army. They tricked him. And they were like, even the androids were like, "Yo, we were lied to." And so they found out that they have Cell Max to face against. And obviously this Cell Max was huge. He was like 3 times, second form Cell used to be.
Yeah.
And he was red. And so he goes ham, and all he does is yell. He's like literally like a
Broly.
Like a broken... Yeah, he's like a Broly. But he's
Broly Cell.
Like a broken android. And literally it was like unfinished.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't supposed to come out yet. So he just went on a rampage, started destroying everything, but he was too powerful. He ended up killing Android 1. Then we see Krillin and Goten, Trunks, they fuse. 18, and then everyone else, they come to the fight, which this also was interesting to me. Why didn't Android 17? He's on Earth.
Hey!
Yeah, technically he's taking care of that island, right?
Yeah, but all they need to do is call him, because at the end of Dragon Ball Super, he had a cell phone and he was on his boat. It was basically Bulma's. Like, she gave it to him. All they had to do was call him. It was weird because they said Earth's mightiest heroes are here, but 17 wasn't.
I don't mind.
You know what I'm saying?
That was one of the things that kind of annoyed me, because it kind of seemed like they were all brought here just to fill in, and kind of like a nostalgia type of fan service, not in the way it normally is, but like kind of just making everybody feel good that they're there. But then we didn't even get to see Goten and Trunks do their real transformation. They did the messed up, so that way they were bigger and they couldn't really utilize their power.
Yeah.
So that was a little weird. I would have rather have just seen Gohan and Piccolo go at it and then do damage, and maybe even the other android, because the android that did die, when he decided to go out of space and just like rocket back down at 100%, that was insane.
That was insane.
It was like breaking the sound barrier, and then like the heat that was coming up from entering the atmosphere. That was pretty dope.
Yeah, I was surprised that Cell Max was able to withstand that. But he ended up like severing his arm, but he was still like going at it. Piccolo ends up transforming to his basically huge form. But this was also weird to me. He had to be reminded that he could go to his large form. Yeah. He ends up growing to his large form where he becomes a giant and fighting him toe to toe. So that was a unique battle. And I kind of like that whole battle sequence. There's just no flying. They're just on the ground, just throwing hands. I like that. Simple, like, combat. I mean, he's giving Cell Max the works. Like I said, like Broly, he just keeps coming back for more. Yeah. In like a robotic way, though. You know what I'm saying? He's going in and he's like a fury barrage. There was one point where Cell Max only has one arm. He's like severing Piccolo's arm. He's like beating him. He's all bloody and all that stuff. There's one point where he like throws him up in the air and just like throws like a fury of blast at him. Mm-hmm. But it reminded me like Future Trunks, where 17 and 18, when they threw, you know, a fury of ki blast at him. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, it was kind of like that moment, but he was more like in the up position like that. And anyway, when Gohan saw that, he snaps. And that's when you see the new transformation. And then, I mean, he just makes quick work of him. I wish I would have saw more action with that, but it's, you know, it is what it is.
And that's the reason why I said I think Gohan and Piccolo could have just taken him on by themselves. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, Trunks and Goten, I wish I could have seen more of them, not only in Dragon Ball Super, but now. It just seemed like they put them in there and didn't utilize what I would hope to see out of them. Again, it was cool to see them, and it was cool to see that they were grown up. And Pan was hilarious. And then the fact that she's 3 years old and does the damage that she does, that makes it even all the better.
And the way she talks, I was like, that threw me off too. Yeah. I was like, she's 3 years old and she's talking like she's like 6, 7.
Yeah, I was like, she talks just as good as my 5-year-old niece.
I was like, that's I guess Saiyans. I don't know.
That's true.
Oh, also they tell us because of Goten and Trunks, they come back. They say at a certain age they hit a growth spurt, and then kind of explains why we haven't seen them so tall in a long time.
Where Dragon Ball Super is gonna come back, that's gonna be before this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we won't be able to see that for a while. But again, I agree with Devin when it comes to the whole animation style. I wasn't feeling it really in the trailers, but I got used to it as it was going on. And then it kind of makes sense in the art aspect of when you think of it. It's not Boruto the Next Generations, but it is like the future of Dragon Ball. Goku and Vegeta aren't here. They're training, and that one alone of itself, that was hilarious too.
That was hilarious.
But we get to see the only heroes, the world's greatest heroes that we had left, actually do something, which is cool because in the past, even in the other arcs, the tournaments and all that stuff, they're background characters, they're fill-ins, they're like on the batting line, they're low. They're not the designated hitter or the closer. I don't know I don't know anything about baseball, but you know, it was great to see Gohan finally step up, because even though he was slow to get there, wasn't a good father at the beginning, when it came time to him needing to protect his daughter and even his friend / father Piccolo, the man stepped up.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we needed. Like the last time we saw him really step up, his dad was dead.
Yeah.
I think that's why they separated everybody. Maybe Goku and Vegeta should be gone more when they get attacked.
They should, yeah. Seriously. I mean, Goku said before, there might be times where I'm not going to be here, so you need to be prepared for it, you know, for something. And that's why I guess Goku low-key put Piccolo in charge? I don't know how that all works.
What was the greater accomplishment in this movie? Was it Gohan defeating the villain in his new transformation, or Vegeta finally beating Goku
I think
with that last punch?
I think it was both, because that fight was funny.
That was hilarious.
How the fight started with Goku and Vegeta was there was supposed to be no blast, no powering up, and just only flight combat. Almost kind of like Tournament of Power, but you can't transform or use Ki Blast, and you can fly. In this movie, you will see Vegeta learns kind of like a technique that Jiren was doing about meditation. And he said basically Jiren was more relaxed until the point of attacking. He kind of applied that to his fight, and even Beerus noticed a difference. He said it's a slight difference, but you can see how Vegeta's improved. And he looked very calm throughout the whole fight. Towards the end, they're basically even. He gets one like bop like that against Goku, and he ends up winning. Towards the end, Goku smiled, and it looked like maybe he was like, you got me.
Actually, it really seemed like that, but it also seemed like he was happy because, I mean, for the longest time, he'd been so far ahead of Vegeta. That's what it's felt like, because he keeps getting all these power-ups. He got the Ultra Instinct, and it did feel like Vegeta's closer to getting Ultra Instinct, although I don't know if he ever will. But it did seem like he was close because of the relaxed nature, and that's what Whis was like. He's like, you got to be more like Goku and relaxing. And Goku, you got to be more like Vegeta when it comes to like being prepared, and, you know, mentality and stuff. So.
Also, I didn't like the whole interaction / animation of Whis too. He looked kind of, I'll say that. He looked kind of funny. Also, the way he was talking, it didn't fit him. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
If you didn't finish the movie looking like Broly did at the end,
oh yeah, you gotta watch the whole thing, like the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
you gotta watch
trailer.
After the
credits.
After the credits, yeah. Okay. So be sure to stay after the credits. Towards the end, you see the hero sacrifice himself, who ends up being number 2. He becomes the hero, even though it's kind of debatable whether it's going to be Gohan or him. Yeah. Actually, I will say he's the hero because he gave Gohan time, or gave the gang time to, like, you know, come up with a plan.
Yeah.
So he bought him time. You kind of see the theme of this hero all the way throughout the movie, but also especially at that moment, the climax. But all in all, I give this an 8.5 out of 10. This was actually the only thing I really, really, really had an issue with at first was the animation a little bit. It was just different. I didn't realize that till later. I got used to it, and I was like, okay, this is just its own thing. Yeah. It was a little bit of the animation, a little bit of like how powerful the androids were, because I was like, how they seem like at automatic like Super Saiyan God level. That's what I thought of. And then just the whole nonchalantness of Gohan, certain aspects of that. And then I guess you could say what you were talking about, how not much people being involved in the fight. Also, I guess this is another thing. I have a lot of things. I didn't think about it.
All right.
Gohan. I want to see that form more. I wish they would have drawn that out a little bit.
Overall, I would rate the movie 7 out of 7, or 7.7, purely because I can see myself watching clips again, but I don't know if unless I'm like really don't have anything to do, I don't know if I'll ever watch the full movie again. Mm-hmm. But I also don't watch movies like more than once for the most part. But yeah, the comedy parts were hilarious, and then of course Gohan's transformation. I'll be watching that one over and over again.
That's probably one of the number one things that'll probably be trending. So that and maybe Piccolo's transformation. I don't know, but yeah, very very good movie.
And Bulma had a transformation too.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. You'll find out. Oh, you'll find out. Thank y'all for watching and supporting our channel. Don't forget to check out our social media accounts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about this episode reaction and review.
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Rumble. You can also follow our friends on YouTube as well. Jfrizl, Klamii, and Bloxtun for gaming, Rich Aladdin for films, Orc Text Away for sermons, and American Rock for fitness and fitness merch.
With that said, I'm Devin.
I'm Noah.
And we'll see y'all next time. Peace.